everybody, welcome to Voices of British Orthodoxy. I'm Laza. Today we have a different video where we're going to go over each of the canonical churches of Great Britain and Ireland, and we are going to, I guess, show off their thingy. So, we are going to start off by going over the Irish churches, which is covered by these three maps. I'm then going to close this one, and then we'll go through each individual map and show off the English churches, where I will, English, Welsh, Scottish, etc. parishes. I tried this before when I was going through each, area of the UK, but then I realised that it's probably best that I just do it individually. So, before we do get right into it with some Ireland, so overall, over the last couple of days, I sent my spiritual father 6 requests. One of them was blessed, which I'm going to do next week, presumably, hopefully, Lord willingly, that will be good. And then, to keep things simple, this one was blessed, another one was basically condensed into it for the sake of simplicity, and then the other 3 were, basically died. So, yeah. Right, let's get right into it. So, you're from, let's just say you're from Cork. You have 2 choices, a Romanian parish and a Russian parish, according to this map. So, again, also, I do want to also point out that Orthodox World has an issue where, as a matter of fact, I am going to, I'm actually going to get Orthodox World done first, methinks, before we do think it. So, that is that. They do have an issue where they also do include the Servan churches. So again, don't go to the Servan churches, but I will point those out and say don't go to them. So the first example is if you're in Waterford, your only choice is St. Patrick's, which is under Russia. Do not go to the Indian parish because, yeah. And if you're in Rosclare, you've got thingy. Again, the Indians are not in communion with us. If you're here near Stradbrelly, I apologise, you've got the Church of St. Colman, this is Waterford, right? Waterford, you've got 2 parishes, I think off the top of my head, one is Russian, one is Romanian, if I remember my previous attempt at this correctly. You've got a monastery here under Romania, If you're from this central area, I do not know what it's called. It is near Shannon Bridge, though. It is near thingy. Near Shannon Bridge and kind of near Athlone, whatever. That's a monastery under Romania. I don't know if you can actually go there and convert, but it is there for edification. Here in Galway, you've got a mission parish of Saints Brigid and Nicholas. I forget whether this is Romania or thingy, but yeah. There's a St. Patrick's mission on the west coast in the city of Galway Road. I just granted the entirety of Galway Road to that one city. Well, control of that entire city, I do apologise. We've got All Saints of Ireland here, which is doing good stuff. I do not know my cities. I do not know my Irish cities, so I will open them for you. This is Castlebar, of course it is. You got the mission of St. Attractor, which is... It's Russian, I just don't remember which Russian. So, the Georgians have a parish. This is Romanian. This is either Romanian or Russian, if I remember correctly. Never mind, it's actually Greek. I apparently do not remember correctly, XD. There's a Romanian parish, and then there's 2 other parishes. Annunciation, both dedicated to the Annunciation. This one is also... Okay, they're both apparently EP. That is it for Ireland, according to this. All the links will be in the description, do not worry. Right, the Irish on here is Holy Trinity Pentecost, which is under Soros. This diocesan community worships at the Church of the Immaculate Conception. There's one near Limerick, apparently, under dedicated to John the Theologian. Waterford has St. Patrick of Ireland and the Diocesan Community of Sorrows. All of these appear to be under Sorrows, as you can see over here. This is St. Nicholas's near Galloway, Holy Theophany. St. Tikhon, Patriarch of Russia, Sorrows this is near Castlebar. Technically it is in Derry or something. Derry Reef, I think. Right, this map also has the St. Attractor mission, and then just outside of... So this is technically Republic Island, but it is barely. As you can see, it's very close to the border. And it is dedicated to the Kazan icon of the Mother of God. You'd love to see it. St. Drogheda... oh wait. Entrance into the temple in Drogheda, which is on the north, heading towards Omagh and whatnot. Not too far away from, Bettstown and Laydown. And then Dublin here only has 2. So we've got Church of Free Patrons and Holy Apostles Peter and Paul, which is under Sorrows. I believe this is Romanian, if I remember correctly, right? So, and that is that for that. Actually, I should put these two together, because this, as you can see, is actually a relics map, so we should cover these two basically right next to each other. Right, so this is the newest map, which is British Isles Orthodox Church Finder. And I believe there is a YouTuber called Sig who, at the very least, I know he promoted it. I don't know if he had any part in actually making it, but I do remember he was promoting it, if I do remember correctly, and if I don't, then it is what it is. So, let's see. So we've got this parish, which I think is under Thingy. And so, the reason why I'm also you've probably already noticed, even in regards to Ireland. Also, I've also decided I am going to do Wales next. I'm actually going to do the Isle of Man. Actually, yeah. Actually, no, we'll do Northern Ireland, the Isle of Man, Wales, England, Scotland. There we go. I think that makes most sense, right? So Northern Ireland is up here, which we will move to. This one doesn't actually have it, so we'll just leave it over Wales. Anyway, right. Right, so as you can see, a lot of these missions are working out, and hopefully via this video, the people can work together and make sure that, like, all of these maps are basically full. So we got this one. I do not like the fact... Okay, I'm gonna have to... I want to focus Ireland, but I also do not like the fact that it has the audacity to move my screen. That I do not like. Anyway, in Wexford you got St. Patrick. I think that was covered by the other two, right? Yep. You've got Coleman's, you've got Waterford, Relics, the monastery under Romania. I don't know why I said Relics randomly. St. Patrick's all the way up here. In Sligo, you've got the community of St. Attractor, as you all are aware. And then Dublin requires some zooming in. Can I? No. Oh, okay. That. I think this kind of worked out for me, bro. Anyway. St. Columba, which is Romanian, in the north of London, Dublin even. The Greeks, this is Romanian, right? I think. Yep. Romanian, and who are you under? The Russian. I assume this is a Russian parish, right? Can I do... I don't know how to do the thing where you set the language to English, but this is Russian. This is Russian. Okay, this is a Russian parish. Interesting. Excellent. And that will be it according to thingy. Right, let's prepare for Northern Ireland. I don't know why I didn't actually think of this. Right, so this one only has Northern Ireland. So we go back to here, and then we will... Right, so in the very northern part of Northern Ireland, you've got St. John the Theologian, which is a Romanian church, and then the rest are in Belfast. So we've got a lot of churches to work with, don't we? Right, so we've got the Russian Orthodox community of St. Finian, we've got the Antiochian St. Ignatius, we've got the St. John of Shanghai Russian Church, I think one of these is under Roker and the other one might be under the MP. I'm not entirely certain. Don't quote me on that. We will see if they come up on the others. A Belfast Orthodox parish, which is Romanian, dedicated to the entry of the fair Tokos into the temple. No, into the church. Okay. And then we've got another Antiochian parish. Yes, okay, that's it according to this map. Okay, this doesn't have... Okay, there's no Isle of Man here, so we can skip it out. You'll love to see it. Right, this map has one down here in Soros. You see, this is the great benefit of all the other maps. That previous map did not have this new one. And it only has two of the... So Finian is... St. Finian of Clonard's parish is Soros, and then this is Antiochian, if I remember correctly. And so we will leave it over the Isle of Man. You know, I'm also... Honestly, I should have probably picked an order beforehand. Oh wait, that's... Yeah, Wales. Okay, that's fine. You have only 3 churches, right? Okay, excellent. That's fine. See? This is St. John of Shanghai, which is... I don't remember, but it is a parish. St. Ignatius of Antioch, and then we've got the entrance of the Mother of God into the Holy Temple. This website doesn't have the Isle of Man parish is there, so we'll leave it like kind of zoomed out in a way that implies wanting to look over Wales. And there's actually only a couple of Welsh parishes here. Okay, that makes my life easier. Great success. And also, St. Barbara's, which is being highlighted here, is technically outside of Wales. So anyway, right, this has, St. Finian of Clonard in Belfast, which is Soros, as you all know by now. You've got the St. Ignatius, you've got the Romanian entrance, and then you've got the Rocor parish dedicated to St. John of Shanghai. I know they do semi-consistent reader services there, and then we have the Isle of Man, which you don't actually have, do you? Okay, so we will skip you, and we will go to you, and that is dedicated, and that is on Soros. How wonderful. I do apologise if I sound... Also, I do want to point out, I'm pretty sure the Serbs have a parish in Dublin. I'm not sure why none of these maps have included the Serbian parish in Dublin, but I am like 99% certain that there is a Serbian parish in Dublin. In matter of fact, I am going to drag this across to the side and I am going to look it up. Serbian Church, Dublin. Okay, so Orthodox World has it, right? Okay, I'm very confused. Apparently the Orthodox World directory, which is this, but for Ireland, should have had it, but I don't recall it coming up. So... Yeah, there's So yeah, the Serbs are buying a church in Cork. I don't think they have it yet, so I do understand why it hasn't been put on there. But yeah, no, Oh wait, apparently there are sometimes Saturday services in Cork, which is interesting. There are Dublin services. There's apparently a Serbian church in Galway where they sometimes do. And there's also apparently a service in Gafflone. You see, like, it hasn't told me of this. It's like, none of these websites include the subs. Hram Svetor Georgia. Oh, something to do with, thingy. Parish. I want to know where the location is. It's basically it's kind of like in the northeast of Dublin. Like, it's near North Bull Island, so if I were to head over towards here, it's... Where's Beaumont? I would say it is kind of near the hotel, right? Wait. Oh, yeah, no, it's like it's next to the Tesco. I'd have to do a lot. I think it's over here, right? Yeah, there's a McDonald's. It is literally here at the Artane Oratory of the Resurrection. I don't know why none of these maps actually have chosen to include that, but anyway. Right, yeah, so this has a Finger Parish. Right, I believe we are going through Isle of Man, right? And then this is the Orthodox community of the Royal Pasha Bearers, Isle of Man. The Isle of Man is unique because there is a specific not in communion with us diocese. If you're from the Isle of Man, this is your only church, because I am aware that there is another group that claims to be Orthodox under the metropolis of Mercia. They are Matthewites, they are not in communion with us, I can't really comment as to whether they have grace or not, but yeah, they're not in communion with us, so that is that. Right, next up is Wales. Right, I don't know if this needs to be said, but do not go to the Coptic church. This is your only warning. There is no... This is technically England, so... So, right, this is Wrexham, there is the community of St. Bueno, which I believe is Greek. It's Greek, right? I believe that this is also potentially Greek. No, okay, never mind. It's actually the Patriarchal Exarchate of Western Europe, which is the third of three Russian, forgive me, diocese in Europe. In England, forgive me. So, there's the MP, which is Soros, if I've pronounced it correctly. There's Rokor, which is, well, Rokor. And then there is this, the Patriarchal Exarchate in Western Europe, which I believe for a time was actually under the, EP, right? But we don't really need to discuss that. Apparently, no, okay, never mind. I was about to say there's apparently a second church over here, but that would just be St. Barbara's being condensed into thingy. Right, so apparently here in the middle of Wales there are two parishes. So we've got All Saints of Wales, and then we've got the Church of the Holy Protection. All Saints is under Russia, that Patriarchal Exarchate, and apparently this is also under the same Exarchate. Okay, so he has two parishes very close to each other. Wonderful. Is this the monastery? I don't think that's actually... Okay, that's not Wales, is it? No, that's the border. Right, so we've got the Communion of Three Hierarchs, which is... I do not know where this is. It is in... It is a Greek parish in Cardiganshire. So there's a I don't know why this university has come up. I guess it's a seminary, apparently. Maybe it's just one of those things where the Greeks do their course, because they also have a similar, like, thingy course here in England. Anyway, there's the Orthodox community of St. David, and there is also the Orthodox community in thingy, so let's go for it. Doesn't tell me anything. This is EP, and it's in Cardiganshire. And this is also EP. This is near Swansea. We've got the St. David and St. Nicholas Russian Church, which is Rokor. I wish it would stop doing that. Right, remember, don't go to the Coptic church. Fortunately full. Is this across the Welsh border or not? I mean, if it counts, I don't actually know if it counts as thinking, but yeah. Hereford is kind of a weird border region, so it's kind of difficult. Remember, don't go to the Coptic church, because that is not Orthodox. So Cardiff has multiple, right? So we've got... Also, don't go to the Greek Catholic Church either. I don't know if that needs to be said. Right, let's go through it. We've got a Romanian church, we've got St. Theodore and St. Tyler, which I know for certain is Russian Western tradition, and I think that also applies over here. We've got whatever this is, which is apparently a school, which is wonderful. We've got the Kazan icon of the Mother of God, which is a very wonderful parish. And it is under Rokor. Can I... Okay, that actually works quite nice. Okay, excellent. Right, that's Wales covered for this. Let's move you to the south. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not exactly enjoying using this. Right, so near Manod, I'm going to assume it's called Manod, we've got the Sarah's church with rector being Father Daniel, which I think is Welsh for Daniel. I'm not entirely certain though. And down here we've got the St. Halo and St. Theodore, and then we've got the Kazan icon of the Mother of God parish, and they're both Russian. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with attending either. I don't know too much about either of them, and then as you can see, there's nothing inside the Welsh border, so let's leave you down here. This has some stuff, so let's go through it. Saint Winifred is a wonderful saint, and she has relics, and I believe this is where the well is. This is where Saint Winifred's holy well is, yes, so with a bathing section, need to be modestly dressed to bathe. So this is the relics of Ireland. No, thank you. Right. So we've got St. Melangle's church, which is at Penn and Melangle, which I assume is where her relics are. I know there is something there dedicated to St. Melangle. I'm not sure what it is, though, off the top of my head. And so I do actually apologise. This is technically England, so we will zoom out. Okay, on the Welsh coast, we've got St. David's Cathedral. St. David's of... It's pronounced like Monu or something like that, right? And then there's Justinian of Ramsey, where it's believed the relics rest of... Their relics apparently are here. And then in Llandulph's Cathedral, we've got St. Tailio's relics are supposedly kept in the chapel that bears his name, in a specially constructed reliquary, and then on the Welsh coast. It's coast, but I think this is the Welsh coast. Anyway, yeah, and then apparently Thingy's relics are here. Anyway, right, let's go down to the south. So none of the churches up north actually come up, which is interesting, which means that our only churches to work with are the Greek Church of the Three Highly Hierarchs, I forget who it's dedicated to, but the mission of the St. David's. Swansea's community thingy, and then I'm going to assume that we've got the Kazan icon of the Mother of God, and then the other one is... Oh, it's the Greek one that comes up. Interesting. Again, plenty of other parishes, but yeah. Right, let's leave you down here. And then we've got St. Daniel of Bangor. We've got the Wrexham parish. These are both under the Greek, by the way, I think. All Saints, which is Russian Exarchate. Three Holy Hierarchs, which is Thyatira. I don't actually know who these would be dedicated to, because my knowledge is that the Wrexham parishes that are under Greeks, but interesting. Okay, so this is actually roll call. We've got Romanian parish and the Greek parish in Swansea. Romanians do actually love converts, so I guess if you're in Swansea, I probably would recommend you go to the Romanians. Romanian parish of All Saints in St. Stephen, Cardiff is under Romania. We've got this is Western tradition. We've got Rokor. And we've got a Greek church. And that appears to be it. And then we've got it. Okay, so apparently this also covers Jersey. Do any of the other things cover Jersey? No. Okay, wait. This is actually very interesting. Welcome to Guernsey and Jersey. The Channel Islands. And only one of them actually acknowledges the parishes of... okay. I guess we'll briefly cover Jersey, which has a Romanian parish. How wonderful. How wonderful is this land? Anyway, right. England is going to take a while, so I do apologise in advance, but let's go for it. Right, so down here we've got two parishes, which is Archangel Michael and St. Piran. I don't know why the other one didn't come up. We've got St. Cuthbert. We've got the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Demetrius in Nikitas, the Chapel of the Mother of God of Unexpected Joy, the Parish of the New Mars, Elizabeth and Barbara. And also the Chapel of St. Elias and St. Anthony. Here we've got St. Anne and St. Prophet Elias, though the Prophet... St. Anne is just where they do the worship services, if I remember correctly. So, keep that in mind. the actual name of the patron saint that's dedicated to is Thingy. So Saint Edward. I still ain't sure how to go over England because there is a lot. Right. Also remember, don't go to the Coptic church. And apparently the only thing that comes up here is a Western Rite parish, which is interesting. I would probably recommend that you go to any of the other churches, as we will go over in the other ones, but again, there's nothing wrong with going to the Western Rite, I guess. Here you've got the John the Forerunner Parish, Romanian Orthodox Church, St. Clinic de la Sernitza, Orthodox Parish of St. Selwyn, Southampton, the Orthodox Parish of St. Peter and Paul. We'll kind of go up to try and cover... Right, okay. I also kind of want to try and cover here as well, so here you've got... just outside, so in Bath you've got St. John of Kronstadt, which I believe is a... I don't know, I'm pretty sure the Greeks have a parish here, right? One of these parishes is MP, I'm not sure which one though. But Bristol has 3 parishes. Holy Trinity... So we've got the Orthodox Community of Holy Trinity, the Orthodox Parish of Holy Trinity, and the Orthodox Church of the Nativity of the Mother of God. And then in Gloucestershire, which I think is near... Yeah, this is just Cheltenham, you've got the Greek Orthodox Church of St. John Chrysostom. You've got the Diocese for UK, Europe, and Africa of something here. I don't know what that is. Oh, never mind. Ignore that. That is irrelevant. But there is a Russian church here, which is worth mentioning, because Russia is canonical. Right, I'm not going to go over London. I probably will actually go around London as well. So in Oxford, you've got... There's definitely more than this, but okay, so you've got St. Nicholas, which is Sorres, I know off the top of my head. I think Annunciation and the Holy Trinity is Greek, and then you've got a Romanian church. Right. Yeah, this actually forms a nice line. Okay, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. Okay, so in St. Albans, you've got these 12... Near St. Albans, you've got the 12 Apostles. Here in Stevenage, you've got... no church, apparently. Right, then we'll go south of London to cover Holy Trinity... Community... The Orthodox Community has the Holy Trinity, which is under... Who are you under? The Greeks. And then, unfortunately, so this is not actually under us. Matter of fact, this is actually, so St. Edward's relics are here, which is a good thing why it's been mentioned, but I also must point out that the monastery brotherhood itself is actually true Orthodox. They're GOCK, to be precise, which is obviously, you know, I'm not going to speak too much of that. There's no parish down here. Don't go to the Coptic one. I'm pretty sure there is an actual Orthodox parish there. There's the nunnery for the Martyrs Elizabeth and the new Martyrs and Confessors of Russia. You've got the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Mary Magdalene, the Eucharistic Community of St. Luke, St. Theodore of Canterbury. Here you've got All Saints Church, and you've also got St. Barbara, the Greek Church. I'm going to do my best to go over all of this. Okay, so you've got the Annunciation of the Theotokos, Greek Church. Okay, we're going to cover London separately, I think, yeah. So we've got the Stratopedic Monastery of St. John the Baptist. This is Colchester, right? Okay. This is good, I think, because... no, wait. Never mind. This is Antioch, and this is Romania. Now, I'm not going to get involved in the drama, but if you are from Colchester, you should go to the Antiochian parish. Over here, you've got the St. John the Wonderworker Church in... wherever this is. Felixstowe. Which is apparently just short of Ipswich, so I'm going to try and work out... I think I've done this correct, right? Okay, because... Okay, so, wait, I only went... Ah, this is so confusing. Right, okay, so here you've got the Peter Paul Parish, which I do remember going over. St. John Chrysostom in Gloucester. Oxford, okay, cool. Right, let's... So, 12 Apostles, I think we did cover. Okay, cool, let's go over London. There's a lot in London. Right, the Mission of the Theotokos and the Royal Martyrs, which I believe is Roquelaure off the top of my head. Yep, that is the Roquelaure Cathedral. You've got the Parish of Saints Peter and Paul over here, which could be Georgian to prefer. I'm not sure. No, it's actually the Greek parish. I know somewhere around here is the Greek parish. Is the Georgian parish. Don't go to the Coptic church, obviously. Hagia Sophia is a Greek cathedral. You've got... Okay, that's the... That is the thingy... That's the seat of Greek... this is apparently something else to do with the Greek god Diocese of Thyatira. This parish is the sorrow seat. Right, let's go for it. Over here you've got a Romanian and a parish dedicated to the Mother of God, who is under the Greeks. This is going to be rough. Anyway, Archdiocese of Parishes Island, which makes me think that this is Antioch. And then there's an Antiochian cathedral down the road for it. Methinks this is Antioch. Yes. I am apparently smarter than I let on. Right, doobie-doobie-doo, but... okay, I've been over all of this, I've been over that. There is a Romanian church up here. Again, do not go to the Coptic parishes. There's St. Elias the Prophet, and then there's St. Botolph, who have churches. St. Botolph, I think, could be Antiochian, yes. I totally did not just wait. Right, I think according to this, that's it for thingy, and I don't really want to risk the aneurysm that would come from thingy, so we're going to depart London. We've already been over all of this, so let's zoom out a bit and we'll try and go over, like, this kind of, like, line, I guess. This line up until, Coventry, I guess? I think that makes more sense. Okay, so here you've got two things. You've got the Greek Orthodox community of St. Stephen and Thecla, and then you've also got another community of Saints Anne and All Saints, which is in Worcester. It is a wonderful historic parish. Okay, wait, where's the Coventry parish? Okay, that's weird. In Rugby there is a community, Ascension of the Lord and St. Chad, which I believe is Greek, and then down here you've got the Venerable Paris gave a Romanian parish. Here you've got St. Anne and the entrance into the Theotokos, which is a Romanian church. This parish is Thyatira. Do not go to the Jacobite Syrian church. I don't know if that needs to be said. In parish, you've got the Institute for the Christian Studies, which allows you as an Orthodox Christian, and also even some heterodox, to gain, I think it's masters that would be useful, that are like semi-useful if you are pursuing the priesthood. I mean, this could be Orthodox, I'm not certain. It is. Excellent. It's the Patriarchal Exarchate in Western Europe. And then there is the Romanian church. I'm pretty sure there's a local parish, right? Or is that it? Huh. Either way. Right. I've covered this. Okay. You know what? In order to make my life easier, I'm also going to cover this area. So, we've got icon of the Church of the Icon of the Mother of God, which is Rocal, and it looks like a mini version of their London Cathedral. Fuse St. Thursday Orthodox Study Centre is apparently Antiochian. Romanians dedicated also to Venerable Bede, because again, the Romanians, for the most part, do actually like converts. And then there's a Russian church here as well, dedicated to St. John the Theologian. You'd love to see it. Up here you've got we've got two parishes, Mother of God of the Life-Giving Spring and the Holy Transfiguration. Patriarchal Exarchate Western Europe, Russian, Walsingham of this one, Mother of God. This is potentially going to be an hour, I do apologise. Anyway, and this is Greek. And then here we've got St. Margaret. I think the Rocal parish we went over earlier, so this is Rocal apparently. Yeah, interesting. Wait, why is the head priest Archbishop Mark? Wait, is this the Western Rite parish? Right. It's a parish share, I guess. Right, okay, okay, this has made my life a lot easier. I don't know if that needs to be said. Right, so next up I guess we will go over the parishes that are... Wrexham... Okay, so Thingy... We'll cover this block. So over here, not too far away from Skegness, near Boston, you've got the Theotokos parish, which is Romanian. Over here in Leicester, you've got multiple parishes, but the one that comes up on here is Greek. I need to set a nice boundary. I think Nottingham would be a good boundary, I think. But I also need to make sure that it is in line with Thingy. Right, okay, yeah, we'll draw up imaginary line around Thingy, so around Nottingham. For this section. St. Edmunds, so in Nottingham we've got a local parish under dedicated to St. Edmunds, we've got a Romanian church, and then we've got another Russian church, which you do obviously love to see. In Derby you've got St. David's Orthodox community. In Stoke you've got St. Michael, which one of these parishes I know for certain, okay, so this is Greek, is Antiochian. Okay, that's it. I do apologise for stuttering. Church of the Holy Resurrection is also Antiochian, I think. Yep. And then you've also got the Greek parish of Saints Mary and Marina. Over in Chester, like near the Welsh border, you've got St. Barbara the Greek. And you might be wondering why I'm choosing to do it like this. I just think it's easier. We will then sandwich the Birmingham parishes, starting off by going towards Shrewsbury, which has... So on the outskirts near the border, you've got the monastery of St. Anthony the Great and St. Cuthbert, which I believe is Antiochian, right? I'm on a roll with these guesses. Then we've got the Thyatira parish in Shrewsbury, dedicated to Thingy. I believe they do, if I remember correctly, they do most of their services in the centre at a place called St. Juliana's, so do keep an eye out for that. I know and love the people that go there, so I can tell you that it is a wonderful parish to be at. Up here, apparently, we've got the Orthodox Mission of St. Chad, which is under Telford, which is Russian, apparently. Oh, yeah, okay, so this is Telford. Okay, so you've got the Serbian Orthodox Church over here, which is dedicated to St. Nicholas, and then you've got the Russian one here, and then you... Wait, okay, so apparently there's two? Okay, there's two Serbian parishes here in the Shrewsbury parish. This is Telford, by the way. And then we will continue our descent into Birmingham. So we stop off in Walsall, which has a Greek church dedicated to the Nativity of the Mother of God. I've been there, it is wonderful. Right, so Birmingham is missing some parishes. The Romanians have a parish over here, by the way. I don't know the precise addy, and I don't think it actually will come up. The Romanians also have a parish over here. This is a different seminary that's run by Thyatira. They do those courses that help you, whatever. As a matter of fact, I believe, depending on if you look into it, at this present moment, they could be taking applications for the next year of their semester. And then in the city of Birmingham, there is the Greek Orthodox... Oh, wait. Oh. Huh? Wait, is that true? Is a Romanian church over here? No, that doesn't feel right. I'm protesting this. The Romanian Church of St. Andrew is literally over here. I know because I've been more, like, a couple of times. Unless there's a... And then there's, like, also another Romanian parish here. But anyway, and then you've got St. Luke's. No, this is St. Andrew's, forgive me. This is where St. Luke's would... St. Luke's is at the same location as the thingy, near Nachels. And then in the south of Birmingham, you've got St. Lazar's, which is a Serbian church. And it's probably, in my totally unbiased take, it is the most convert-friendly of the parishes, so if you are Birmingham or even in some of these surrounding areas, I would recommend that you go to St. Lazar's. Around here-ish, I think, yeah, in Swartbrook there is a Russian mission parish under the MP, dedicated to All Saints of Great Britain and Ireland, but that will come up on one of the other thingies. Again, right, so where did we set our boundary before? It was Nottingham, right? Okay, so we included this. Okay, so it's actually... So the next parishes would be St. Paulinus of York, who is Antiochian, right? What, Russian? I got the second one. Right, Patriarchal Exarchate in Western Europe. Nottingham we've already covered. Stoke-on-Trent. This is... Oh, wait, we've already covered St. Michael. We've already covered that. Okay, so next up is St. Theodore. St. Theodore, which is... which is under the Antiochians. And then we've also, near Rotherham, we've got the community of St. Cuthbert, which is under Thyatira. And then there's also 2 more parishes, which is St. Cuthbert and St. Silouan and All Saints of Great Britain and Ireland, which is something you love to see. This is Patriarchal Exarchate in Western Europe. I do apologise, I keep on clicking thingy, so this is in Chesterfield. And this is Chesterfield as well, and it is Rocal. Priestess, priest. Interesting. Right, so before we head... This is a tough one. Okay, I don't actually know how to go about this. I think we'll cover this section and then we'll go over and cover, like, Newcastle, not Newcastle, Liverpool and all that, because there are some good parishes in Newcastle. Liverpool, forgive me. Right, so our first parish will be in, near Doncaster, and it is the parish of St. Columba with St. Kentigern, which is under Antioch. Next up is the community of All Saints of Lincolnshire, which is under Antioch, I believe. Next up is the community of St. Cuthbert, which is probably Russian, I think. No, it's actually EP. Next up, we've got St. Marina of St. Kenelm, and St. Æthelherd. I hope we've covered them at some point. Okay, so... Yes, okay. So we'll then go over these churches next. So, Grimsby has St. Marina of St. Kenelm, which is under Antioch. And this is also Antioch. By the way, there are pros and cons to every jurisdiction. Also, remember, do not go to the, do not go to the Indian Orthodox. The non-Orthodox churches that got up on here for whatever reason. Is there any way for me to... Okay, no. Okay, that's fine. Parish of St. Elizabeth the Newmarket is Rocal, and it is beautiful from what I've heard and seen. I haven't ever been there IRL, but I've heard good things about it. There's the Romanian Church of Venerable Paisios from Neamt, and then here we have whatever this is, and a chapel of St. Elizabeth the Newmarket. This is apparently... this is a Russian thingy. Interesting. And this is also on the Rocal. Oh, wonderful. I don't know where the other thing went off to, but okay. Right, let's head towards Manchester, where we have St. Aidan's, which is Antiochian, I believe, right? And I am correct. St. Nicholas and St. Melangal. I'm trying to remember. There's something off about St. Melangals, if I remember correctly. Because I think it's Western Rite. No! Okay, yeah. Okay, do not go to this parish. It is not canonical. This is a not canonical parish. I knew there was something off about it. I couldn't put my finger on it. It's with those, the church is technically called the Western Orthodox Church, where it's like a bunch of these people basically decided that they cared more about being, Western. As a matter of fact, these are the kind of people that I was talking about in that last, Thinky episode. Anyway, but if you're from Manchester, you do also have St. Nicholas's, which is under Thyatira. Though, of course, you could also just go to St. Aidan's, which is under Thingy. Okay, we've got another parish of St. Aidan just north of Thingy, which is under Antioch. In Preston, you've got the Greek Orthodox community of all the Apostles. I'm going to now cut across to Bradford, I think, because I've already covered all this, right? Yeah, okay. So, St. John the Baptist is a good Serbian church. I know they've had some I know they've had some baptisms, so I do know that they are church friendly. In matter of fact, I do, if I remember correctly, they were covered by Ortho Christian. So if I were to open this and look up like orthochristian.com and then look up St. John the Baptist Serbian Church UK. There is a thingy that came up, yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, they had a baptism kind of recently, which is obviously kind of cool. Anyway, is St. Joseph with us? In Bradford, there is a... Okay. I'm not too certain about this. I don't know if anybody wants to verify. It could also be True Orthodox, for all we know. There's a Ukrainian Orthodox Church in Leeds. I don't know which Ukrainian that is under, so I'm not going to comment. I am not going to say anything other than that. It is there. I don't know if it's the canonical church under Metropolitan Onufri or not. Again, I am not touching that debate with a 12-foot pole. This is in Leeds, and it's dedicated to St. Gregory the Theologian, and it is under the Greeks. Wonderful. Apparently there is a second parish there, but I could not find it. Right. So we kind of have, like, two choices. Either one, we could head, like, I guess, across in north, or two, we should cover these two. Okay. We're going to cover these two. So we've got St. Simon the Zealot, and then we've got the Parish of the Holy Cross. Simon the Zealot is under Thyatira, and it is in Dalton in Furness. And then we've got Lancaster Parish, which is also under Antioch. Right, let's cut over to this side of the map, where we have St. Constantine and St. Helen, which is a Greek Orthodox Church. And then we've got St. Constantine the Great, Greek Orthodox Church, and we've got a monastic house and hospital here as well, which is kind of cool. This is under Thyatira, obviously. This is under Antioch. And this is Rochel. May it be blessed. Right. So we've already covered these. I guess the next parish has to be up here, which is the community of St. Becca, Mungo, and Herbert. They are Thyatira, so they are Greeks. Then we come across to here, where there's a random parish dedicated to St. Mary. And then we've got Mission of St. John the Baptist, and we've got St. Cuthbert and Bede, which I don't know why this has came up. Maybe it's Orthodox? I mean, it is what it is. You know, I just thought, given that this is still the first map, and this is only England, by the way. Anyway, this mission parish in Durham is Rochel. Durham actually has a decent Orthodox presence because of the university thing. The credit where it's due. St. Bede is under Thyatira. We've already looked up St. Bede, so let's scroll out. Okay, and that's actually it. Glory to God. Well, okay, that's it for this one map. Okay, we're still on England, by the way. Right, let's start from the bottom again. St. Cuthbert, Sorres. St. Cuthbert, Sorres. No, this is St. Anthony and Elias, which is Sorres. This is the Orthodox community of St. Pancras and Sergius, which is Archdiocese of, in the Russian tradition, which is the Western tradition law. This is St. Edward the King of Martyr, and it is Sorres. We will cover Swindon here as well, because of part of my desire to encircle London, as we did with London previously, and also with Birmingham previously. Swindon is under Sorres, St. Peter and Paul. Southampton, St. Silouan. Again, oh wait, I think it was Bournemouth, right, that has the, wait, I can go back. Doobie-dooby-doob. Yeah, if you're from Bournemouth, go to the Russian parish rather than the Western Rite. If you're from Bournemouth, I'd probably recommend you go here rather than the Western Rite parish. Again, I'm not denying the orthodoxy of the Western Rite, I'm just saying that there are, I don't know, I guess you could say plenty of issues with the Western Rite that make it, not really terrible. That means that I would promote the proper rite over that. In Southampton, you've got a Sorres parish dedicated to Thingy, St. Peter and Paul, which is also presumably Sorres. We've got the parish in honour of the Jerusalem icon of the Mother of God. We've got Holy Trinity and the Annunciation, which is, I think it's Greek, right? And then we've got St. Nicholas, which is Sorres. I want to encircle London, so St. Alban is Sorres. We'll then go over these two, even though technically this is London, but St. Andrew the First Court is here, which is Sorres. The diocesan community of the Three Hierarchs is Sorres, and then we will finish off this at the bottom. This is Rochel. This is the Sisterhood, and this is the community of St. Luke's. I believe we just went over this. Excellent. London is surrounded, but I also want to take Ipswich while I'm at it. And they have a parish dedicated to St. Mary and St. Mary at the Alms Church, whatever. And it is under Sorres. Well, you know what, for the sake of simplicity, we'll also go over... the Greeks have a parish in Milton Keynes, apparently. Right, now it's time for London. Right, we've already been over this one. Right, so in the far north, we've got St. Ked, which is on Sorres. We've got a Greek Thyatira church under the dominion of the Mother of God. We've got St. Andrew's, which is a Greek Orthodox cathedral. We've got the Hagia Sophia, again, a very beautiful parish if you've seen anything online. You've got the Antiochian Orthodox Cathedral. You've got the Sorres parish of St. Nicholas. The Sorres Cathedral of the Domitian, which is like their main church. Over here, you've got the Rokor Cathedral. Somewhere here is also the Serbian parish of St. Savas, but for whatever reason, it didn't come up. Right. It hasn't came up. Again, there are other maps that will cover it again. Also, I do apologise, this is going to take a long time to upload, isn't it? We're already 51 minutes in, and we still have 3 England maps left, by the way. Oh well, right, that's London side, at the very least. We took Oxford. We will now... St. Ephraim the Syrian is under Sorres, according to this. I've heard good things about this parish. I want to visit. Is it, Next up, we will take Cheltenham, which is apparently under Rokor. Oh yeah, St. Vladimir is a Russian parish that's looked after by Father Mark, who also looks after the Kazan church in Thingy. In Ledbury, there is a Romanian parish, and then we will head... We're going to head to Northampton, I think, next, and then we will head Peterborough and basically take these. Right, so Northampton has Greek church dedicated to St. Neophytos, a St. Anne's parish, and I have good friends that go there, so if you're from Northampton, I'm going to recommend you go to St. Anne's, which is under Thingy, and then you've also got a Romanian parish. Right, Peterborough has a parish dedicated to St. Olga, which is... It worships a parish called All Saints, and it's under Sorres. In King's Lynn, there is a Nativity of the Mother of God parish under Sorres, which is... but serves at St. Margaret's. Here you've got a Thyatira parish, then we've got a... You've got the... So you've got the shrine to St. Our Lady of Walsingham, but apparently there's 3 Orthodox holy tables there, which is interesting. You've got a museum chapel that does no services dedicated to St. Seraphim, which is interesting. And then we've got a Skeet of the Mother of God of Unexpected Joy, which is unexpected, and it's dedicated to the... which is under the Russian tradition of Western Europe. Norwich has 2 parishes, Rokor, St. Alexander Nevsky, and St. John the Theologian, which is Western tradition. I mean, to be fair, if you're from Norwich, you have 2 good choices there. Go to either of them. There's a church in College of the Theotokos and Drive All Sorrow near Ditchingham and Bungay. Right, now we're going to cut across, because we went over this last time, we went over this. Okay, we will do what we did before, so let's start off with the 2 Stoke parishes, which is Antiochian, which first is dedicated to St. Michael Audley, I don't know who that is, and, oh, wait, no. Okay, the Church of St. Michael, which is in Audley, there we go, and the Church of St. Michael, which is in Stoke. Stoke is effectively on is mostly looked after by the Antiochians and the people that came up in the previous one. I think most converts tend to go to Antioch. I'm not entirely certain though. In Derby, there's apparently a parish dedicated to to David of Wales. I did not know that. There's a St. Edmund, which is apparently Western Rite, but it's not actually holding services. And then there's also the St. Aidan and St. Chad Sorres Church. Excellent. Right, let's slowly make our way towards England, Midlands. In Rugby, we have a Greek church of the Ascension. Coventry has multiple parishes, but apparently only the Greek one has made it onto this. There is the Serbian Church of St. Nicholas, and then down the road to it in Telford is also a thingy parish, the Rokor one. There's also the Greek parish in Shrewsbury, which for whatever reason doesn't come up. There's a parish up here, which I believe is Romanian, yep, in Wolverhampton, that wasn't on the previous one. You've got the Church of the Nativity of the Mother of God, which is Ecumenical Patriarchate. That is not Orthodox. I do apologise, this is not canonical. So, technically, these lot are... They're in this weird position where I think they would consider themselves to be Rocor-Phi, which is Vitalists. Anyway, over here in Castle Bromwich, this is where St. Andrew, St. Nectarius is, Birmingham parishes. Holy Parish in St. Luke, which is where the Times seminary thing is. The Domitian of the Theotokos and St. Andrews in the City Centre. You've got this, which is the Sorres Parish, which is dedicated to all the saints of Great Britain and Ireland, and apparently also to the Holy Trinity. They worship at a church dedicated to St. Agatha. I believe... I believe that this is outdated, and Father Michael, I think, has effectively retired. And I believe this is now Father Sergei, who does the weekly parishes. Anyway, and then obviously in the south of the Midlands, near Cadbury... Wait, what? Oh, I apparently misclicked. Okay, that was a bit iffy, but yeah. Holy Prince Lazar. St. Lazar, which is a Serbian church. Again, I might be biased, but I personally think if you are converting in the Midlands, this is probably the best parish for you to convert. Services are obviously here, which is always nice. Right, we went through... Did we go for Nottingham? Yeah, we did, okay. Right, next up is Chesterfield. St. Silouan and All Saints. Russian tradition in Western Europe. St. Ethelherd's is Antiochian, which is in Lincolnshire. In Louth, Town Cemetery. In Brigg, you've got St. Hybald's, which is Antiochian. Manchester, Protecting Vale under Sorres has came up. In Wolseley, you've got the St. Elizabeth, the new Martyr Parish, which is wonderful. The Russian Orthodox Mission of St. Nicholas, which is local in the city centre of Liverpool. You've got the Greek Church of St. Nicholas, which is in Newcastle, in Liverpool as well. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of slightly struggling with this. Fortunately, I don't think any of the other maps are... Actually, no, this one might be a bit thingy. And this one is very short. This one could be as long. This one, yeah, okay. What if I went over all of them? You know what, it's fine. Right, we've been over that. In Preston, there's a Romanian parish? Fair enough. I'm not actually... I'm not sure who to recommend for you all. Try both of them. Again, Romanians, for the most part, do want converts. Here's the Serbian parish in Halifax, and then there's two Sorres parishes in Bradford and Leeds, respectively. Oh, dedicated to St. Xenia. You'll love to see it. St. Constantine and St. Helen is... I'm not sure who... GOC York. Okay, that implies that it's... I assume it is... Fireterra, right? Yep, okay. Nativity of our Lord is Sorres. Right, and then we head up to Morecambe for Holy Cross Orthodox Church. In Carlisle, there is a Sorres church dedicated to St. Ninian of Whitthorne. Occasional services, though, and they only get services once every 2 to 3 months. Hey, if you start going when they do have services, they might be encouraged to, you know, do more services for you. Right, here we've got a local parish for St. John the Forerunner and Baptist, local mission parish. The Romanian St. Bede and St. Cuthbert Church. And then we've got St. Cuthbert, Wendover of Britain, and that is Sorres. St. George the Trophy Bearer has a parish in Sorres. St. George the Trophy Bearer, I believe, is St. George the Great Mall, and that's finally in Newcastle. And then the border is here, so we are done with another map. This, fortunately for us, is just relics, so let's go over it. Down here in this particular parish is the relics of Saint Urith. Apparently they're in the floor with decent certainty, so I guess hypothetically you could go there and pray to her. Also, we've just passed the hour mark. Truthfully, I mean, to be fair, in our defence, Scotland does not have that many parishes, so I think we are over halfway done, depending on how big these two are. But anyway, St. White is apparently at the Witch Church Canonical. At Downside Abbey in you got St. Boniface, Benedict Mountain Troubadour, relics of St. Boniface, a piece of vertebrae, which you can go and venerate. Winchester Cathedral, St. Hedda of Winchester, her relics are here, apparently. And so is St. Swithin's. I do apologise. I've only just realised how long this is for you all, so I kind of want to try and get through this as quickly as possible. Right, so at Arundel Castle, you got St. Edmund of Anglia's relics, apparently. Oh, never mind. Oh, okay, so there is actually a small piece. Okay, fair enough. In Woking, you've got Brookmuck Sentry, which, yes, okay. So, St. Edward, the Martyr, would be there because the Brotherhood is there. Okay, this is way too long, but apparently St. Ainsworth, with her relics are apparently there, would be basically the summary of it, right? I do apologise. Again, this will be linked in the description for you all. The Canterbury Cathedral apparently has St. Wilfrid of York. Minster Abbey apparently has Mildred of Thanet. And on the coast, apparently there's a particle of relics here. Maybe belonging to St. Augustine of Canterbury. Anyway, in London proper, we've got St. Etheldreda, which has a particle of which is a Roman Catholic church, which has St. Audrey's relics. St. Alban's shoulder bone are in the Cathedral of the Church of St. Alban, which is in St. Albans. Dorchester Abbey apparently has St. Berinus of Wessex's relics. Miracles are also known to have happened there. Christchurch Cathedral yes, this is very famous. St. Fridesvide's relics are here, and apparently they're mixed with another woman and buried on the floor after the Reformation. Some say the relics were third in the church graveyard. At the very least, there is a tombstone. There is a coffin thing where you can actually directly venerate her, which is considered to be an official tomb. And then just north in in Binsey is the well. There's a shrine for St. Arilda, apparently, in Gloucestershire. St. Kenelm's Well is just north of Thingy. We will then head across and then we'll click on Thingy after. Right, St. John the Baptist, apparently it was put on there anyway because it's a monastery and convent. Right, St. John's Orthodox Church in Colchester is the Romanian parish, and somehow they have some of the relics of Saints Augustine of Canterbury and Bede of Jarrow, and St. Cuthbert of Lindisfarne. Maybe trying to visit them outside of the liturgy might be worth it. I can't really comment for you all. Right, St. Edmund's Church, Bury St. Edmund's, St. but a small particle of his relics is available for veneration. Here in Ely, we probably have... oh, wow, we have an incorruptible hand. Oh, wow, okay, that's actually... wow, that's actually, yeah, no, that's impressive. Right, in Norwich, we've got St. Julian's, or Juliana Church. Okay, I'm very confused. Right. Okay, she's not Orthodox. Basilica of Our Lady of Walsingham, Church of the Holy Trinity, apparently is an Orthodox church here. Anglican Shrine for the Wangling. We got the thingy we already went over. I do apologise, but we've already effectively went over this. I don't know why the Roman Catholic Church is here, but okay. And then there's also a pilgrim shop. There's a pilgrim shop, and apparently there are some Christian items. I don't know if that includes Orthodox. The thing looked like it sells Latin stuff, so... right, over in Crowland, we have the Crowland Abbey, where St. Theodore of Crowland was martyred in the 9th century. this, and I guess apparently Saint Guthlac of Crowland as well was venerated there. St. Kenelm as well. Okay, Evesham. No, wait, no. This we've already been over. This is relics of Saint Boniface. Can be by arrangement available. The kept in the reliquary, kept in an attire in the altar room, and that's in Brixworth. Very nice. Right. Hayford Books apparently has Christian and non-Christian books, candles, and assorted things. Coffee and Christian open mic events. Apparently, St. Anne's. I include St. Anne's because it is the person who makes this home parish is interesting. I'm not going to click that link because I want to get through as much as I can. I've already been over that. St. Evesham Abbey. St. Weisson's in the Saxon crypt that once contained his relics is intact, although his relics were dispersed and have been taken to Evesham Abbey. And also, in general, it's just nice, and also, it's dedicated to St. Edwin. You can go there with the intent of venerating St. Edwin. I did that before, and there's a video on it. I don't know if I want to link all of those different videos. Anyway, St. Oswald of Worcester in York, traditionally his... St. Oswald of Worcester in York traditionally has relics in Worcester Cathedral. Right. St. Chad's Cathedral has the relics of St. Chad. I can confirm that. I have prayed the Akathist there. I've prayed his Akathist there. Right, let's go over... Yeah, we'll go over Shrewsbury and collapse in onto the rest of Birmingham, actually, yeah. So apparently there's a monastery of St. Cuthbert here, which is nice. Shrewsbury Cathedral has St. Winifred of Holywell, her relics, apparently, her finger, and there are some relics at St. Winifred's Church. St. Lazar's Church in Orthodox, in England, well, in Birmingham. And that's no joke, there are a lot of relics, so since you're Orthodox and you're looking at this, we have relics belonging to St. Anne, the mother of the fair Theotokos. We have some of the apostles, I think it's like St. Paul and St. Luke. We have one of two relics of St. Gabriel of Georgia outside of England. We have the three holy hierarchs. For pre-schism British saints, we have St. Patrick, St. Brigid of Kildare, and then we have two of the, I'm going to call them English, kings of Brittany. Like, one is King St. Solomon of Brittany, and yeah. Right, we've already been over that. Let's go up to Lichfield, where they have a relic of St. Chad. And, matter of fact, if any of you go and watch our first ever Slava for the Saints of Great Britain and Ireland, which is going to be more of a closed event this year, but it is happening. But yeah, this is where we went last year. Wyson in Repton, Derbyshire is important. The Saxon one... Okay, so this has his relics. Did we go over this church, Crowland Abbey? Okay, yes. Right, so next up it is Ashbourne. St. Bertram is, I guess, venerated near here. I think his well might be in this region, I'm not too certain. Again, I don't really know what some of these are, like St. Berthelines, like, I don't know, is there a pre-schism saint there? I'm not sure. St. Friederich's Church, I think, okay, that's technically Wales. That's technically Wales, which I think we should have covered, but yeah. Hilbard of Lindsay, his relics were found in the chapel floor in the church in 1866. Honestly, right, I don't know. Fair enough. St. John of Beverley, his relics are apparently here, and there are miracles over in Beverley, which is cool. Ripon Cathedral has St. Wilfrid of York. I should have asked him to actually explain this, but anyway, the Durham Cathedral has the relics apparently of St. Jarrow, St. Bede of Jarrow, St. Cuthbert of Lindisfarne. Apparently St. Oswald and St. Hilda also have relics there as well, which is kind of cool. And then in Hexham, we've got Hexham Abbey. And then St. Yatta, the crypt traditionally contains the relics. Very interesting. And that is another map done. Again, this map is pretty smaller. This map, though, oh wow, I am not looking forward to this. Oh, we have a lot of parish. This is a good thing, by the way, but I must admit, mentally, I don't know if I'm prepared for this. Right, let's start off on the coast. Also, please do not do that. St. Cuthbert, right, okay, so we've got this parish right here. Archangel Michael. We're gonna have to zoom in, aren't we? We've got the different parishes here. I think this is the only one that does include, that includes the Greek community in Torquay. And I know that a bunch of friends of mine went down there and they said it was beautiful. And I've made some jokes when I saw some of the photos. Because they have the British flag and the Cyprus flag, and I said it was cool that they had 2 British flags. I think we've been over most of these. Apparently there's a church in Western Supermare, which is cool. Shout out to the Greeks for actually establishing that. You know what, Bristol... we actually won't touch Bristol just yet, but yeah, we've got the Greek community of St. John of Kronstadt. I do not like this. Yeah, we've got St. Dunstan, we've got these parishes in Southampton. You've pretty much already seen them. With 12 Apostles, this... apparently some extra parishes in Brighton. Parish in honour of the Jerusalem icon of the Mother of God. Parish in Nativity of Christ. I do apologise. I kind of want to just... I am going to be honest. I am going to do my best to get through these as quickly as possible. Say, Parish... I think some of these are new. Like, yeah, no. Which is kind of cool. This one is a lot... This one is, I think, as I mentioned before, backed by a famous... like a famous YouTuber. You know what? I'm just gonna go around the coast, I think. Right. This one we've already been over. We've already been over this. Right. Anyway, here's St. Luke's. We got the... This is the Bulgarian community. Again, I don't think it actually appeared on any of the others. St. Theodore community and another Greek church here. Right. We've got Emperor Constantine and the... I'm so sorry. The Emperor Constantine and his mother Helena. We've got All Saints. We've got the Essex Monastery. We've got over here, just north of London, we've got Thingy. Apostles. Wait, this is Orthodox, right? I think it's Greek, right? Yeah. If this was live, I'd go and take a quick thingy to get a drink. Or I probably would have done that by now. Right, right, Parish of Holy Ascension in Wickham. Parish of St. Joseph the Confessor in northern London. Saint Simeon and St. Anna. St. Charalambos in Luton. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was through being a part of a WhatsApp chat, but I know they sometimes do English services, if I remember correctly. We've got this parish here, which is dedicated to the glorious prophet, forerunner of Baptist St. John, and also St. Alban, the first martyr of Britain, also known as proto-martyr. And then, yeah, you got a parish directly dedicated to St. Alban. That is Soros. I think we already covered that. Right. Barbarian women. It has languages both English and Romanian. Okay, so it's Romanian parish, which is very cool. I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so Oxford has a few parishes. So, Venerable Chapel. This one is... Is this a Serbian parish? I'm not actually sure. Oh no, this is the... Okay, it's Russian. Fair enough. Oh yeah, no, it's St. Nicholas. Oh, I'm an idiot. I accidentally clicked that. I am so sorry. Orthodox Parish of the Holy Trinity and Annunciation. That's Greek, right? St. John Cassian and St. John Maximovich. Who are you dedicated to? Romanian. It's Romanian. Holy Ascension is the Serbian one, right? Yes. Serbia mentioned. Yeah, as I was mentioning, I don't know if I mentioned before, but yeah, there is a Serbian parish, and then there is this. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Oh, right, I got confused because they have 2 locations. Okay, 2 buildings. Right, that's my bad. Right, I am going to just cover this, and then we'll go back and do London. So let's just quickly head over to Bristol. Bristol, Church of the Nativity of the Mother of God. I'm not sure which one is Russian, which one is whatever, but yes. We've got the Sovereigns Constantine and Helen. It is beautiful, and I wish I'd stopped clicking that. Saints Pier and Paul, which is a nice church. Okay, there's a group chat randomly going off. And we've got Holy Trinity. Wonderful. Swindon has Saints Pier and Paul in Swindon. I don't know if I just need a drink or something, but I keep on messing up. There's a Greek community of Saint Community, and then this is Saint Vladimir. Yep, we've already been over that. I do apologise. I don't really want to go over parishes I've already been over. Right, let's get into London. Right. London's got a lot of parishes, so let's start off in the north. Actually, let's start off in Watford. St. Joseph the Confessor. We've already been over it, but yeah. And then over here in Hertfield Road, which is in the Enfield part of London, we've got the Greek community of St. Raphael, Nicholas of, and Irene. We've got a different Greek church dedicated to St. Raphael. Here we've... I'll have to zoom in a bit more, won't we? Right, we've got St. Botolph of Icon. The community worships in the Hall of All Saints Nursery and Primary School for the specifics. Greek Church of the St. Catherine. We've then got St. Ked over here. We've got St. Demetrius. Why did I click? I didn't. In my defense, I don't think I... let's also get the ones over here done. So we've got St. Andrew the First God. And we've got the entrance of the Mother of God into the temple. Entrance of the Mother of God into the temple. There we go. We've got the Holy Martyr Minos. We've got the Church of St. Lazarus and the Apostle Andrew, Forest Gate. We've got the Church of Saints Alpharios and Lucas in Leighton. We've got a church in Hackney dedicated to St. John the Theologian. I'm now going to come up north and get the two Woods Green churches out of the way. So we've got Cathedral of the Domitian of the Mother of God, and then down the road for it we've got the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Barnabas. A little bit south in Hornsey we've got a church dedicated to St. John the Baptist. Looks nice, but I didn't mean to click it. I do apologise. Over here we've got the glorious prophet Elijah, and then in Kingsbury we've got Saints Pantaleimon and Paraskevi. I think that is the Romanian parish. Down in Ealing we've got a parish of Saint Sava, which is Serbian. Over here you've got the Greek Orthodox Cathedral of the Holy Cross, and then down here you've got the Cathedral of the Mother of God and the Royal Martyrs, which I believe could be the Rocal Cathedral. I'm not entirely certain. It's near Heathrow, so yeah, it's basically down the road from Heathrow, so that must be it. Over here in Windsor you've got the community of St. Andrew, which is Greek. Down here you've got the St. George's. I'm not sure who they belong to. I'm going to come back up and go across the centre of London. In Notting Hill you've got a second parish of St. Sava. You've also got the Greek parish near Shepherd's Bush of St. Nicholas. The Hagia Sophia is a very beautiful church, as I've already pointed out. It's in central London, near Paddington. We've then got three Orthodox churches here: St. George's Antiochian, the Bulgarian Church of St. John of Rila, and the Russian Church of the Domitian. We've then got the Great Martyr and Victory Bearer St. George, and then we've got the Domitian of the Mother of God parish. Right, next up is the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Nectarius in Battersea, the parishes of St. Peter and Paul in Clapham. The Greek Orthodox Church of the Nativity of the Mother of God, Holy Annunciation of St. Apostle and James in the south of London, I guess near Morden. So yeah, we've got three churches around Brixton and Battersea. Then we've got this other parish which is in Croydon, St. Constantine and Helen. We did it. We did London. Right, now we march north. Right, so we've been over Cheltenham. You know what? I'm gonna do what I did before. Let's get the East Coast done first, and then we can just conquer the Midlands. So you got these two are Antiochian parishes. Again, as I said before, if you're in Thingy, if you're in Colchester or any of these areas, I would personally recommend you go to Thingy. You do also technically have St. John Maximovich, which is the Romanian parish. You've got the churches of St. Cosmas and Damian in Ipswich. Over here in Bury St. Edmunds, you've got St. Edmunds Orthodox Church. You've got St. George's Hermitage. I don't know anything about it. Looks western, right? either one, I'm going to assume it's like a Western Rite mission, because there are a few of them. Honestly, to be fair, I probably could have used... there's a lad on Twitter who has a Western Rite map, and maybe included them, but oh well. You've got the Joy of All Sorrow, Mother of God Parish, and the Venerable Bede and Philo T Parish near Bungay and Becky's respectively. In Great Yarmouth, there is a Greek parish dedicated to St. Spiridon. You'll love to see it. In Norway, in Norwich, you've got two parishes, Mother of God and and St. Nevsky. Over in, I think it's Strafan, apparently the priest is on the YouTube channel and he seems sweet. St. Percy, I don't know which diocese it's under though. There's the Walsingham Parish of the Transfiguration, and then there's the Pan-Orthodox Chapel of St. Seraphim of Sir Arthur, Walsingham. Right, let's make our way towards the Midlands. At Bury St. Edmunds... Oh wait, we've already been over that. Right, so in Peterborough you've got the Russian Church of St. Olga. Thank you for having in your name who you belong to. The St. Edmund's Orthodox Church in just south of Cambridge near like Sawston, Doxford and Linton. In the south of Cambridge, you've got the Greek community of St. Athanasios, Holy Apostle Evangelist John, not sure who they belong to, and then you've got St. Ephraim, which is Russian. We've been over Peterborough, haven't we? Yeah. There is a Serbian church in Corby. I don't know what I've done to deserve this. There we go. But I fixed it. Specifically. But I don't know if it's possible to request this, but I don't like how this site... I don't like the whole you need to zoom in thing. I like being able to, thingy. Especially if I went out of my way to click to use it on PC. Parish of the Holy Apostle Andrew is in Bedford. I think this could be... And... Oh yeah, this is Serbian. So yeah, it's looked after by the Serbs, because, I mean, who else would you... Okay, in Milton Keynes, you've got two parishes. One dedicated to Hieromartyr Cyprian and the Holy Virgin Martyr Justina, and then you've got a Greek Orthodox community of St. Ambrose and Stylianos. We've already been over Oxford. I think we've already covered the Werber, and we've covered Cheltenham, which means we head up north to Northampton, which is St. Anne's, which is, again, the one that I would personally recommend. Chat, I am literally clicking... There we go. I clicked on the entrance into the Mother of God temple. Ah, excellent. Apparently the churches here are very lovely and genuine. And, hey, if you can figure out how to support them, go try and support them with their quest to build a church. Right, there's a Northumbrian Greek community dedicated to St. Neophytos. In Rugby, there's the Greek community of Ascension and St. Chad. In Coventry, there are two parishes. This is the Romanian one, and there's the Orthodox. There's the Greek community dedicated to the Holy Transfiguration. I'm going to zoom up because I want to work out where we are, and I think I'm going to just do my northern thing again. So, hey, in Chester, you've got the St. Barbara Church. Okay, so we're going to basically try and split it up a bit. I think that's the smart plan. So, in Chesterfield, you've got the parish of St. Cuthbert. In Lincoln, you've got the Greek community of St. Basil and St. Paisios, and then you've also, there's also All Saints of Lincolnshire. You've also got St. Aethelherd's, right, I'm gonna have to zoom in a bit, right, this is, Stoke, right, yes, you've got St. Michael the Archangel, you've got, the Greek community of Panagia, something. You've got the other Antiochian parish. You've got the Shrewsbury Cathedral of the Holy Fathers of Nicaea, and apparently they also cover St. John the Baptist. I apologise, I am hiccuping. Serbian Orthodox community of St. Nicholas. Ah, yes, okay, this would fall... Okay. What time to start hiccuping? Right. You know what, let's actually get Derby. How far north did we go? Okay, so in Mansfield you've got the Greek community of St. Cyril and Methodius. In Derby you've got St. David of Wales. The Serbs, I know, also sometimes do a, the Serbs also have a parish somewhere, but it's technically under the Leicester people, but I imagine we'll get to that when we get to it. There's a parish dedicated in Nottingham. There's Saints Peter and Paul, and the hierarch Saint Spiridon. There's Saint Chad and Saint Aidan. There's the Virgin Mary, I can't pronounce Greek, but Alosia. And then there's the Saint Aidan and Saint Chad Church. I didn't click that. We've already been over that. Next up is Leicester. We've got the parish of St. George the Great Martyr, has 0 online presence, however there are recent Google reviews that highly acclaim this church. I believe that this parish has existed on a very low profile for a long time, it's well established. It is listed on the Serbian Diocese of BNI, and there exists a few old articles on the web regarding this parish. All the best to those who can investigate this parish. If possible, report the findings to us at St. Yes. I can confirm that the parish of St. George the Great Martyr is a Serbian parish, and it is beautiful. There's also the Greek community of, I did not click that, of St. Nicholas and St. Xenophon. And then there's also St. Minas, there's also a community of St. Minas the Great Martyr, which I think could be, is it Antioch or Finger? Right, let's get Birmingham out of the way. Kingshurst, Romanian parish, Holy Apostle Andrew. Aston, like, not too far away from the Villa Ground, technically speaking. You've got Holy Trinity and St. Luke, which is also where the thingy surgery is. Where the Times seminary is. There we go. We've got St. John of Wallachia, which is a Romanian parish. We've got also Greek community. We got the Theotokos, Nativity of the Theotokos community in there. By the way, I'm not sure precisely where it is. I think it's in Bartley Green. I mean, given that there's a massive lake here, I'm going to assume it's around. No, it can't be. Wait, Quinton's only here. Wait, am I losing my marbles? I know, like, somewhere near one of the lakes or something. Maybe it's this one, I'm not sure. Maybe it's in Bartley Green, I'm not sure. But there is actually another Romanian parish down here. Anyway, in the city centre there is the Cathedral of the Dominion of God and St. Andrew, which is Greek. There's the All Saints of Great Britain Island, which is a, which is based at St. Agatha's, as we went over before. And then, of course, you've got the parish of the Holy Martyr Lazar. I don't know if we'd phrase it like that, but yeah, St. Lazarus is there. We did a line across here, right? So, and I believe we covered St. Ethelherd. Okay, excellent. I didn't click that. Right, let's just go Liverpool and we'll, I don't know. Right, so all the way up here you've got the community of St. Simon and Kentigern. In Morecambe you've got the Holy and Life-Giving Cross. In Preston you've got the Mother of God and St. Cyril the Athonite. In Leyland, which is apparently near Chorley or just outside of Thingy, you've also got another Greek church dedicated to the Holy Apostles. St. Elizabeth is a very famous local parish. You've got the Greek Nicholas Cathedral, Orthodox Church, whatever. You've got St. Paisios Velichovsky, Abbot of Nîmes Church here, which I think is Romanian, if I remember correctly. Over in Warrington, you've got St. Oswald. I didn't click that. Is that Western Rite Parish? I can't tell. Right, we're going to need to zoom in for Manchester. In the north of Manchester, you've got the St. Chad of Mercia. This is an Antiochian mission, and they do 11 AM second Sunday. Manchester Church of St. Nicholas, Greek Orthodox Church of Annunciation. We've got the Protecting Veil of the Mother of God, Pokrov, St. Aidan's, and that does not count. Wait, what? St. Melangels does not count as an Orthodox Church. I don't know why it keeps on coming up here, because I don't even think there is an Orthodox community that actually does services there. Shh. I do not know where to go next. Shall we get Leeds in that over and done with? So we've got St. Hilda and Mission Parish. This is an Antiochian mission dedicated to St. Aidan. From the Manchester community dedicated to St. Aidan, and they also do liturgy here every Sunday. St. John the Baptist Parish. Okay, in Bedford, you've got the Parish of the Holy Trinity, which I believe is the Serbian Church. St. Macarius, the Great Church University Chapel. There's apparently something dedicated to St. Gregory the Theologian. We did not find an origin. It certainly exists. The building is worshipped by the Leeds University people. Excellent. And then you've got the Greek Church of the Three Hierarchs. Standing over St. Petersburg Church. Over here you've got two parishes. I clicked the top one. How dare you? There we go. Orthodox Church of St. Constantine and... yeah, Greek Orthodox Church of St. Constantine and Helen. Okay, so we didn't go over Sheffield, did we? No, we went over Chesterfield, and then we... yeah, okay. Because we're trying to break it down into areas. So we've got the Greek Church here dedicated to the Annunciation, St. Columba and St. Kentigern. You've already seen some of these, St. Simon the Zealot and Great Martyr Manus. St. Holyfield's Antiochian Orthodox Church Community. Then here you've got the Theodore of Froland and the... oh, they have two churches? Interesting. Did we go over these? It's like, what did I do? Like, honestly, it's a new site. I'm not being cruel or anything. I'm trying not to be... okay, we've already covered Lincoln. Okay, that's fine. We have covered Scunthorpe, St. Highbolds, I think. Yes, right. So let's go into regular York, I guess. Right? Regular York, and then we, I guess, do these lot. Right. And then we move on to our next map. How fun. There's... oh, right. Okay, never mind. Sorry, we've already covered York. I am tired and thirsty. Right, so here we've got two parishes. We've got the Life of Giving Cross in Westgate, Morecambe, and then we've obviously got the community of Saints Simia, Simon, and Kentigern. Why did it open the picture? I did not click that. Right, okay, we've covered all that. Right, let's move north. Let's, right, so in Keswick we've got a parish that I don't think we've covered on any of the other ones, which is dedicated to Saints Bega, Mungo, and Herbert. That sounds unique. I don't know who they're dedicated to. Selection, how wonderful for use. Okay, cool. I mean... okay, it doesn't actually say, so I guess we... whatever. In Middlesbrough, there's a Greek church dedicated to the Annunciation. In Durham, you've got Cuthbert the Wonder Worker. There's the church dedicated to St. Cuthbert and Bede. In Newcastle, apparently there's two churches, so there's St. Anthony the Great, and apparently this kind of messed up my clicking, so we've got to zoom in to click on St. George the Trophy Bearer. Let's go over to Carlisle next. Nativity of the Mother of God, and the Russian Orthodox community of St. Ninian of Whitthorne. There is something over here, right, in Dumfries, which is, there's no set parish. This goes for baptisms, etc. Okay, interesting. Here we've got a... interesting, I don't know that. Hey, that's why we use multiple sources for this. And then in North Northumberland, you've got the Church of the Holy Mother of God and St. Oswald. And then it wants me to... right. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, this is actually on the... okay, this is on the border. This one is actually in Scotland. Okay, cool. I think we went over thinking, right? Yeah, okay. Cool, we're done with this map as well. Right. Let's go through it. Orthodox community of St. Orthodox community of St. Cuthbert, Romanian Church of St. Parasceva, St. Michael the Archangel, St. Ninian, St. Parasceva, community of St. Elias. We need to log in because apparently it's free and extra. Prophet Elijah, Romanian Church of St. Olympius the Deaconess, and St. Pancreas. In here we've got another Romanian parish. You know, there's also St Andrew's, which is in Western Supermere. In Bristol, you've got Nativity of the Mother of God, Greek community of St Peter's Paul, the Romanian parish of Constantine and Helen, and then you've got the parish of the Holy Trinity, which I think could be the Russian one. Bath is St John of Kronstadt. In Swindon, there's a community dedicated to St Peter and Paul. Romanian Church in Winchester, of the Transfiguration of the Lord. 12 Apostles, Antiochian Church, Romanian Parish, St Nicholas, St Silwan, St Peter and Paul. In Portsmouth, technically speaking. In Chichester, there's a Greek church. Oh wow, okay, I did not realise there is this many parishes. Okay, that's... Oxford has the Romanians, the Holy Trinity, Archdiocese Faetera, and the Russian parish. The Merbaron women in Aylesbury, Luton has St Alban and St John the Forerunner. Luton also, just south of London is obviously, just south of Luton is technically Karalambos. I'm doing this in a terrible order, aren't I? We should probably get this bottom part done first, right? So, towards the edge of Worthing, we've got two parishes. One is Holy Trinity, St Dean, and then we've got the Jerusalem icon of Mother of God. We've got the parish of the Nativity of Christ in Lewes. In Eastbourne, we've got St Pantaleimon. We've got two parishes in Hastings, Merciful Saviour, and the Greek church that's dedicated to St Mary Magdalene, and that's a community hall apparently. We've got the Sisterhood, we've then got the community of St Luke. Just north of that, we've got St Luke's Church in Sourborough / Royal Tunbridge. In Crawley, we've got the Apostles Peter and John. Yeah, Apostles Peter and St John the Baptist, there we go. In Chatham, we've got the Bulgarian Church. In Maidstone, we've got this parish, which is Greek. Folkestone, we've got another Greek community, same thing on Margate. And then in Canterbury, there is a Romanian mission. Southend on the Sea has the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Barbara, Phanofrius, and Paul the Apostle. The Antiochians have a parish of All Saints, also in that kind of area, like more closer to Bowes-Gifford. In Basildon, there's a church dedicated to the three hierarchs. Romanians have parish of the Great Sovereigns, Constantine and Helen. St Andrew the First Called in Romford. Now is London. Right, Romanians have multiple parishes in London, so we've got the Romanian parish in the entrance of the Mother of God. The Romanians also have great... in Dagenham, they've got the Minas parish. They've also got the Apostle Paul and all Romanian saints. Then they've got the parish of St Nicholas. And then next to that, just north of London, they've also got the Demetrius. And in Harlow, which is a bit further north, they've got Simon the Zealot and Great Martin Minas. The Greeks have some other parishes as well. So we've got St Alpharios in Leighton. So they've got St Andrew and St Lazarus in Rutland. They've got the Christ the Saviour in... they've got St Constantine and Helen in Crystal Palace. Kingston, they've got St George's. Around Brixton and Battersea, they've got St Nectarius. Clapnam, they've got St Peter and Paul. And in Camberwell, they've got St Mary. They've got St Raphael in Enfield. In Edmund, they've got... I can call this Edmonton, right? Yeah, so they've got St Demetrius. It appears they have two churches in Trinity Road. St Barnabas and Mother of God, the Mission of the Mother of God. They've got St Catherine's, which we've kind of been over. Okay, we've already been over that. They've got Santa Pantaleimon. They've got the Holy Cross and They've got St. Pantaleimon, which is in Harrow. In Golders Green, they've got Holy Cross and St. Michael. Next to Hampstead Heath Park thing, they've got St. Cosmas and Damien. In Camden Inn, I'm going to consider it both under Camden Inn, they've got St. Andrews and All Saints Crete and All Saints. They've got Divine Wisdom, Hagia Sophia. And that's it for the Greek parishes, right? Next diocese will be the Orthodox community of St. Ked. There's also St. Bartos, which is an Orthodox church. We've already been over that, though, in the other thing. Right. The Romanians have Holy Hierarch Leonidas of Radui. They've got the High Prophet Elijah. They are, doesn't really say, I guess, Carlindale / the Hyde for the first one, and Finchley for the second, for Prophet Elijah. The Orthodox Church of the Descent of the Holy Spirit, which I guess would be Pentecost, is in Kingsbury. St. Sparrowscaiver and Lysagiven Spring is very close to Heathrow. Like, I guess we could say Heston, or Hounslow, right? The Serbians have two churches dedicated to St. Savia, one in Angenhill and one in Ealing. The Rockwell has their main cathedral, which is Nativity of Mother of God in Chiswick. The Antiochians have a cathedral dedicated to St. George. The Bulgarians have St. John of Rila Church. This is, like, very close to the centre, like, basically in Kensington. Russians have the Domitian in Kensington as well. I think I've been over the 7 Greek churches, so that just leaves the Romanians have St. George, also in the city centre of London, and the Russians, I think it is, have St. Nicholas the Wonderworker. And then on the outskirts of London, they've got the parish of St. Andrew the First called. The community of... Wait, I've already been over that. Right, London is covered, though, so we did get that through that. We managed to survive that. Right, Luton is covered. For the sake of simplicity, the Russians have a community in Gloucester, apparently. Oxford we've been over, I think. Aylesbury we've been over. Please don't freeze. Right. The Romanians in... So in Milton Keynes there are 2 parishes. According to this, we've got St. Hero Martyr Cyprian and Virgin Martyr Justinia. We've got the Greek Orthodox community in there. We've got the Romanians in Bedford. Cambridge has 3 parishes. The St. John the Baptist. Just south there is also the St. Edmunds. And there is the Orthodox Church, Viator Parish of St. Athanasios, and then the St. Silouan's, no, St. Ephrem's, forgive me, Fingy Parish. In Bury St. Bedmunds, you got the Fingy Parish. You got the St. Edmund's Parish there. This could actually last 2 hours. I do apologise. I am trying to rush this so it doesn't last 2 hours for you, so that you can just see that, you know, pretty much every is covered. Right, so Parish of St. Mary at the Elms is in there. On this side you've got Joy of All Sorrow, near Bungay, and then near Beccles you've got St. Mary's Church, which is Romanian. In Grey Yarmouth you've got St. Spiridon. In Norwich you've got Mother of God Greek Church, you've got St. Alexander Nevsky, and then you've also got St. John the Theologian. The latter 2 are Russian. Apparently Norwich Airport has free one-way race. Cool. There's a community in dedicated to St. Fursey in Stalfarm. Little Walsingham has 2 parishes, one dedicated to the Orthodox Transfiguration, then you've got the Seraphim Cathedral. In King's Lynn, we've got the Nativity of the Mother of God, and then we can start heading over towards Peterborough. Peterborough, St. Olga, and then just outside of it there is also a Romanian parish dedicated to St. Gregory Palamas. The Serbians in Corby have a parish dedicated to the Holy Prophet Elijah, and apparently the Romanians have a church there as well. The Romanians also have a parish in Northampton, which is where we'll go to next. And then you've got St. Anne's, which is a Russian parish, and the Greeks of St. Nephitos. In Bedford, there is a Romanian parish, because apparently they missed out on thingy. Okay, so now we turn towards the Midlands, right? Yes. Romanian parish of St. Andrew and St. Crete is apparently all the way here, next to Ledbury. Right, just south of Worcester, you've got All Saints of Worcester and St. Anne. Right. I think I might just try and keep it simple this time. So in Rugby, apparently you've got two parishes. So there's the Church of the Ascension, and then you've also got a Romanian parish dedicated to the Archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. In Coventry, you've also got a Romanian parish, and also which is dedicated to Saint Veronica and Saint Iridon, and then you've also got the Greek parish of the Holy Transfiguration. That's Corby, right? We've already covered Corby for the sake of simplicity. In Leicester, we've got the Romanian parish down here, which is St. Minas the Great. We've got the Orthodox Church of St. Nicholas and St. Xenophon, and then we've also got the Serbian Church of St. George the Great Martyr. In Birmingham, we've got, well, technically this is Wolverhampton, but you've got St. John of Wallachia and St. Nectarius and St. Andrew representing those two churches respectively, representing Romanians. The Greeks have three parishes: Nativity of the Mother of God in Warsaw, Holy Trinity St. Luke near Aston Villa Stadium, and the Orthodox Cathedral of the Domitian of the Theotokos and St. Andrew in the city centre. The Russians, in particular Sarez, I can tell you this, have St. Andrew, no, they have the All Saints Russian mission parish in Swartzbrook, and they operate at St. Agatha's, which is a mission parish, which is an Anglican parish, and they use part of the side. St. Lazarus is there. Shrewsbury has two parishes, so the St. Julian... So this is operated by the same people, but they do the worship at St. Juliana's on a Sunday. So it's the same church. They just switch it up depending on where they're doing their service. And then there's two churches in Thingy, and apparently they're both under St. Nicholas, but like there's also some weird thing because they technically kind of count as Thingy as well. One of them counts as Rocor as well. That's Wrexham, so I don't need to cover that. We've covered all of this, right? So south of Boston in Lincolnshire, you've got a Romanian parish dedicated to the Nativity of the Mother of God. In Derby, you've got Orthodox Community of St. David of Wales. Greek Orthodox in Nottingham, you've got three parishes: Virgin Mary Alucia, Greek Russian Church of St. Aidan and St. Chad, and then we've got St. Peter and Paul and St. Spiridon, which is a Romanian parish. Stoke-on-Trent has three parishes, as you all know. There's a Romanian mission dedicated to St. Silouan, and also the Holy Mother of God, the Protection of the Most Holy Theotokos. Hopefully we can finish this in the next half hour. If not, I'm going to be not happy. Anyway, right, the Greeks have the parish of Panagias and Panagias, I can't pronounce that, and St. Marinus. And then there's a Antiochian church. Again, they also have mission parishes. Have you seen from the other maps? Right, in Chester, you've got St. Barbara. In Liverpool, you've got St. Elizabeth the New Martyr on the Rocor, the Romanian parish of St. Paisios, Velikachowski, and the Greek church of St. Nicholas. Sheffield has the Greek Orthodox Church of the Annunciation of Theotokos, and then in Chesterfield you've got Silouan and All Saints. In Mansfield you've got a Greek church for St. Cyril and Methodius. All Saints and Lincoln has two churches: All Saints of Lincolnshire and the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Basil and Paisios. As we get towards the next to Lincolnshire's Thingy in Louth, you've got Aethelhards. Then in Grimsby, you've got two parishes, St. Theodore of Crowland, and they're both dedicated to St. Theodore of Crowland. In Scunthorpe, you've got the Highbolds community. South of Doncaster, you've got the Romanian parish of St. Simon the Zealot and Great Minas, and St. Columba of Kentigern. Next up would be Manchester, right? Manchester's got a lot of parishes. Okay, so we've got St. Aidan, Romanian Church of St. Wait. You know, I'm not going to check it out. I was about to question something, but you've got the Stravo parish of the Protecting Veil of the Mother of God. And then you've also got a Ukrainian church. Again, I'm not going to comment. I don't know whether it's a part of the canonical church under Metropolitan Onufri or the church that is technically schismatic. You've got the Greek Orthodox Church of the Annunciation in Manchester as well, and then you've got another Greek church dedicated to St. Nicholas. In Blackpool, you've got St. Gregory's Orthodox Chapel. You've got in Leyland you've got the Church of the Holy Apostles. In Preston, you've got the Romanian Church. We covered that parish right you've got the Orthodox Community of the Meeting of the Lord at Barnsley. We've covered these two parishes. Do apologise. We've already covered that parish in Scunthorpe. Yay. Right. We've covered these three. Right. Let's head towards Halifax then. Okay. So we've got St Hilda's Orthodox Church. We've got the Serbian Church of St John the Baptist, which is the actual Serbian Church of Halifax. Okay, I got confused. There's the Serbian Orthodox Church of the Holy Trinity. You've got the Xenia of St Petersburg community in just north of Huddersfield. St Macarius has a Romanian church, and also the university has the same colour as the Romanians as well. The Greeks have the three hierarchs in Leeds as well. Then we go over to the side, we've got St Nicholas, which is a Greek church near Hull. I guess if you want to be precise, you could say Aylerton Borough or something like that. The Russians have the Nativity of Christ in Kingston upon Hull. The Orthodox community of St. Constantine the Great is in York, and then we've also got St. Constantine and Helen Church as well, also in York. Right, we've been over that. Right, Dalton has community of St. Simon and St. Kentigern. Morecambe has the Antiochian Orthodox Christian Diocese of Britain and Ireland, Wales, Holy Cross Church. I don't know whether Keswick has a Greek church dedicated to Saints Beggar, Mungo, and Herbert. Okay, so apparently we do have a parish for that. The Greek Orthodox Church of the Annunciation is in Middlesbrough. Durham has a Romanian parish, it looks like, dedicated to Saints Cuthbert and Bede. There's also the Russian community, well, a Russian church that's the community of St. Cuthbert. In Sunderland, there's a Romanian church dedicated to St. Nicholas. There's the Russian Church of St. George in Newcastle. And St. Anthony the Great is also in Newcastle. Which means we're getting close to the top part, right? So in Carlisle, we've got two parishes. We've got the Romanian Orthodox Church, and then we've got the Romanian Church of the Nativity of the Virgin Mary, and then we've also got the Orthodox community of St. Ninian of Whitthorne. And that is it. Excellent. Okay, so now we're covering Scotland. It's only took us almost 2 hours. Right. Okay, so according to this, we've got a Greek school in Glasgow. I don't know if that would actually count as a proper parish, but sure. Just south of Edinburgh, there's a chapel of St. Andrew. There's a cathedral dedicated to St. Luke, who is apparently dedicated to ecumenical patriarchates. Presentation of Our Lord is Romanian Church in Glasgow. There's also the communities of St. Kentigern and Archangel Gabriel. They are under Russia, Exarchate in Western Europe, and the Russian. Okay, they're both under the Russians in thingy, respectively. Don't go to the Coptic Church again. There's the Orthodox community under Saint Thingy of Saint Community of Stirling, which is under the EP, and I am very EP. All the way over here, you've got the two monasteries, which I think are both under. They're both under Romania, right? Yeah. Iona. Some of you might be familiar with Thingy's parish, with Thingy's stuff. Community of Stirling. Do not go to the Coptic Church. There's community of St. Andrews, which is, and up here we've got, you know what? Around here we've got the community of St. Andrew's Orthodox Church as well. Around Dundee we've got a few of these churches apparently. So in Fife we've got a community of St. Andrew's dedicated under Phytera. This one apparently is under Romania. Yeah, and then there's another Phytera parish. Right, just north of Perth. Well, I don't even know where this would count. We'll load it up, but we've got a community of St. Nicholas. Right, okay, so in West Hill, no, Aberdeen, we've got a Romanian parish. Wait, so we've got a Russian Church of St. Nicholas in Perthshire. Then we've got a Romanian church dedicated to Saints Joachim and Anna. And then we've got the Orthodox community of St. Matthew the Apostle, which is under Phytera. We might actually be done within 2 hours, right? Because Scotland doesn't have that many parishes. We've then also got the Oratory of the Mother of God and St. Cumain, which is in Inverness, and it is under Thyatira. We've got the Orthodox community of the Highlands in Inverness, which is under Thyatira. We've got the Orthodox Chapel of St. John the Baptist, which is in Rossshire. I totally knew that, and it's under the EP. Honestly, the Greeks might actually have the most parishes in Scotland, and that is it, according to this. Okay, glory to God, we have completed map 1. Map 1. So, okay, we got the second map, which is... So, in Edinburgh, we've got a Soros church dedicated to Saint Teniu. We've also got St. Gabriel Orthodox Church under the Russians, apparently. Okay, there's a Greek church of St. Luke. St. Kentigern is also under thingy. This is under Soros. This one's under the Russian tradition. Dundee has a Soros parish dedicated to the Mother of God, Annunciation in particular. Okay, for whatever reason, this icon doesn't include the Ionia stuff, but fair enough. We've got Soros in Aberdeen, which is dedicated to St. Machar of Aberdeen. And that is actually it. Okay, wait. Yes, okay, that is actually it. Never mind. The Russians also have a decent presence in Scotland. And then, also in Scotland is some relics. So, in Glasgow, we have the relics of St. Kentigern Mungo, which are most likely in the tomb in the Low Crypt. I don't know what the visiting it's like. If you've ever been there, feel free to leave a comment. The monastery of okay, and then these two are the monasteries of Ionia and Orkneys, respectively, and I believe they're both under finger. That's that second map done, and okay, it's now going to be rough. So, you're going to be... So, in Dumfries... Right, so there is no set parish, but there is a mission who's sometimes organised by the people in Thingy, which is nice. I'm glad to see that that is something that is being noted. That is the other side of the border, right? Yeah, Northumberland community of Thingy, I think we did cover it by then. Right, in Edinburgh we've got a few parishes. Let's start off with Edinburgh. I've got to zoom in a lot because I don't trust Edinburgh, sorry. Right, so we've got the Greek community of St. Andrew, we've got St. Andrew's Orthodox Church, so we've got St. Teniu of Scotland, we've got the Romanian Church. Let's zoom out so that we can head across. Because as you see, the next parish is actually in Falkirk. We've got St. Kesog's community, which is Ecumenical Patriarchate. Right, so we've got the Greek community of St. Luke in Glasgow. We've got the community of the Archangel Gabriel. Okay, so it's in the basement, which is interesting. And then there's the Church of St. Kentigern. Right, in Dundee, you've got the community of St. Nicholas. I did not click that! How dare you open it? How dare you? Right, in Dundee we've got two parishes, so one is dedicated to the Apostle Andrew, and another dedicated to the Annunciation of the Mother of God. In Aberdeen, we've got three parishes, so let's zoom in. First one is which is the most northern, is Greek Orthodox community of St. Matthew. We've got St. Macarius of Aberdeen, and then we've also got the Holy Righteous Ancestors of God, Joachim and Anna. I think I should... Okay, we've been over Glasgow, we've been over Dunfermline. Okay, that means we have to go over Iona next, right? So, we've got a couple of things worth mentioning here. We've got the Monastery of the Mission of Saints, the Men's Monastery, which is the Men's Monastery. And then we've also got another Men's Monastery. I didn't click the photo, but it is nice. And then up here in... Okay, we've got the Women's Monastery for Mull. So Mull operates three monasteries. Well, has three churches, I guess. One is Thingy. So we've got one church dedicated to St. Columba in Inverness. By the way, can we just take a moment to acknowledge how big the gap is, which is something I do want to emphasise, but we'll talk about more of that next week even. And we've been over Aberdeen, right? So this map's actually completed, right? Oh wait, never mind. We've also got up here. All the way up here we've got the St. Sunniva Hermitage. Interesting. Feel free to pause and read. Right, we are, I think, officially done with this then. Blessed. Right. Okay, so this map has, I guess we'll start off with Glasgow, right? Actually, we'll start off with the Monastery of All Saints, and obviously as it put up somewhere up here is thingy. We've got the community of St. Ninian, apparently also up here. Interesting. We've got the Highland community of St. Columba in Inverness. In Aberdeen, we've got St. Matthew, the Greek Church, St. Makar, the Russian parish, and the Romanian parish, which is also in Aberdeen. If I remember correctly, it's the Most Holy Theotokos, his parents, the Holy Hierarchs, Joachim and Anna. Also, we have passed 2 hours. I do apologise. Right, next up is Dundee, where we have a Romanian parish and the Russian parish dedicated to the Annunciation of the Mother of God. And then down here in Dunblane, you've got St. Nicholas. In Falkirk, you've got the Greek community of St. Kesog. In Kirkcaldy, you've got St. Mina. Right, and then that leaves the 2 main cities, and then we're done with the video. Right, Edinburgh. St. Ternu, St. Andrew, which is the second one, St. Andrew's under the Greeks, and the Romanian church as well. And then there's also another parish. The Ukrainians also apparently have a parish in South Edinburgh. Again, I can't comment whether it's canonical Ukraine under Metropolitan Onufri or the schismatics that are still supported by the Greeks. St. Gabriel's is in Glasgow. We've got the Church of St. Luke, also in Glasgow, and then we've also got St. Kentigern, and then on the far side, more closer to like Johnstone, outer side, and I guess a lot closer to Glasgow's airport, if that's something that interests you, you've got a Romanian parish dedicated to St. Columba. And that is it. We went through basically the British Isles, including the Channel Isles. I will leave these in the description for you all. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I have it in me to do a thumbnail before this gets uploaded. I guess we'll see. I don't even know if I can upload it tonight, because a 2-hour video is going to take a very long time. Anyway, I've been Lazar. God bless you all. Amen. Please leave a like, subscribe, share this. This has been me going over the different maps of the, churches for for the canonical churches of Britain, and pointing out which ones are canonical, which ones aren't, and giving some slight recommendations here and there where I can comment on it. Given that I am on the old calendar, I do often tend to encourage people to follow the old calendar churches. So, Russia, Serbia, I guess hypothetically even Bulgaria and Georgia. Though weirdly enough, I don't think the Georgian church ever actually came up, and there were some parishes missing. But anyway, I've been Lazar. God bless you all, and Amen.